Drawing on insights from over 200 experts, RT-402 offers steps to harness advanced project controls. It leverages best practices and maturity tools, provides direction on sensing technologies, and highlights high-value AI applications. Illustrated through case studies, this presentation offers insights on how to focus more on analysis and less on data manipulation, leading to increased productivity and optimized project and portfolio management. Here to present, please welcome David Grau, Rodolfo Gonzalez, and Brian Petty.
Advanced project controls. RT-402 has gone through a 2-year journey of discovery and development to develop resources and tools to support advanced project controls. What is this and how will it work? Well, we've developed tools such as work environment assessments, project controls, reliability and technology maturity tools to help you build your project controls team and environment to allow for things like integration of your tools and systems with your partners, the real-time development and dissemination of information and data and reporting to allow for reporting and decisions that are effective and timely. What we've learned, oh wait, I don't have the button, sorry guys. What we've learned is that we all have challenges in project controls, but we have the tools and technologies there to provide us with the answers. First, I'd like to take a moment to recognize and appreciate the many teammates that supported this effort and made it a success. From 26 member organizations representing owners, contractors, service providers, and academics. We thank you all, and thank you, team. I also want to thank those of you in the audience and your organizations that provided the data and the information necessary to make our team a success. So, let me ask, what do your project controls organizations look like? Are you able to provide current, clean, consistent, and complete data? Do your project controls systems have the maturity and the ability to seamlessly integrate with you and your partners and share that information in real time? Are you able to allow your management and decision makers to have informed, timely information to make those decisions? Well, let's step back for a second. And let me ask, are you aware of where your organization stands now? APC, using these tools that I've mentioned earlier, allow you to understand where you are on the ladder of advanced project controls. Some are more mature and developed. Some are using more technologies. But understanding where you are and developing a path to your future, seeing the steps necessary to be taken, are the important thing that we want to give you. So, what does APC, Advanced Project Controls, bring you? Well, you see a buffet menu, if you will, of improvements that you can achieve in your project controls and execution utilizing APC. Things such as more time for deep dive analysis, improved and increased return on investment, supported by case studies, and rapid data gathering and decision making. This is where we want to be. But to get there, we have to understand where we are, where we've been, and why we are there. On your left, you'll see an IPA study done this year representing complex projects. This is what we do. This is the bread and butter of our industry, our projects. And complex projects represent a vast majority of them. Well, what this data gives us is that currently 55% of our complex projects, 55%, over half of them, have both schedule and cost overages. Is this acceptable? Is it acceptable to have delays in your schedule of over 26% and greater than 10% cost overruns on your complex projects? Well, the good news is that by integrating your project control systems and using some of the things that we're going to present to you today, you'll be able to boost your productivity by up to 25%. And you'll get to see schedule improvements of 15%, with cost reductions of 10 to 15%. This is the goal, the objective, the things that we want to bring to you with APC, providing you real-time reporting, analysis, and decision-making. Again, we want to think about where we are and how we've gotten here. Another key area for our industry are mega projects. Capital expenditures in the billions and billions of dollars. Very important, very critical to success. CII data shows that most, nearly all, in fact 98% of mega projects experience cost overruns. A cost overrun of 1.5 times your original budget. This is unacceptable. 55% of these mega projects experience significant schedule impacts. How are we even successful? Well, I'd say that you are doing a great job, but we can do better. We know how to get better. We're going to be able to utilize advanced project controls as part of our toolbox. It was mentioned earlier that we've had all these great presentations, and how do they tie together? They're all pieces of the puzzle to our success. And quality and technology, project controls, all AWP, these things all tie together. And if we use these as part of a package, we get better. But APC can help you understand areas of focus in your project control system and project execution team so you can get better. One of them is the project controllers' time themselves. We all have project controls team, robust teams with lots of experience and training, a lot of metrics to use. They know how to forecast. But unfortunately, today we use 80% of our project controllers' time on mostly manual processes of data gathering and data handling, report generation, leaving only 20% of their time, of our time, to actually spend in analysis and forecasting. Think about that. So if we can flip that script, reverse that trend using advanced project controls, real-time reporting methods, spending more time with integrated technologies with our partners. Remember that it's not just us as an owner or a contractor, but it's our subcontractors, our vendors, being able to integrate and seamlessly use all data in real time. We can, you see on the right side, flip that script, as I said. 70% of your time can be used for analysis, predictive analysis, reliable and timely forecasting, allowing decisions to be made to take advantage of opportunities, to mitigate challenges, to think about the path forward. If you're driving blindly, don't know where you're going, you're going to miss the curve. But if you've got plenty of time to see ahead, you know when to steer the ship. how to follow the plan, and to improve your chances of success, mitigate risk, improve cost and schedule certainty. And only 30% of your time is then on what I would call more of the grunt work. If you can flip that script, you're on the path to success. Now let's look at something else that is come as a surprise to RT-402. 10 years ago, RT-316 conducted studies of both contractors and owners, and they wanted to see the time from data collection to the information being reported and digested by the stakeholders, both in risk and procurement monitoring and progress reporting. 402 reproduced those same surveys, talking to our industry, asking the same questions. And shockingly, we've made zero improvement. We have the same return time, cycle time on this information. And why is that? I think it's because we're not embracing technology and tools that are currently available. That we're not on the path to success. We're kind of stuck. Human nature is to avoid change. Well, change is necessary. And we'll show you that there are success stories. You look at these logos and you may think of services and products, things such as operating systems, cellular phones, internet search engines. That's not what I see. I see companies that have challenged the norm, that don't accept the status quo, that have positively disrupted our lives. They've changed how we think and do, how we live and how we work. Amazon, for example, they have reinvented, reimagined e-commerce and supply chain and delivery. If you're a Prime member, you can get anything just as cheap or cheaper delivered to your doorstep tomorrow. They've reimagined how we live through the use of technology, through the use of rapid, instantaneous data and information collection and dissemination. An even more recent and better example. Yesterday we heard from Oracle Labs. Very impressive information. Burson gave us data on how AI and other technologies are currently being used and how we envision them to be used in the future, and developing new technologies to support us. We need to embrace, to take on those technologies and allow them to help us the way that these companies have done. We don't have to be a technology company to use advanced project controls, which give us the ability for continuous data collection, real-time reporting, on-demand and custom reporting to allow for effective decision-making. So to tell you more about advanced project controls and the basis behind the data, I'll give you Dr. David Grau.
Thank you, Brian. So we all know of relatives or friends with diabetes. For those that have to deal with diabetes on a day-to-day basis, the real-time information that glucose monitoring devices provide have greatly improved their lives. So a year ago, I was spending time with my family. My 13-year-old nephew had been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 6. So in the afternoon, pastries were available, so I asked him, "Do you think you can eat some?" To which he brought his cell phone to the glucose monitoring device on his arm and told me, "I can eat 1.5 pastries." So think about that, 1.5. That's precise, pervasive, on-demand information that triggers an informed decision-making without the need of pricking his fingers multiple times a day. Whenever the level of glucose is above or below a certain threshold, which, by the way, would be equivalent to deviation in construction, an alert is sent to my nephew's cell phone as well as to my brothers and sister-in-law's cell phones. So whenever you have realized this power of on-demand precise information, would you go back to the past? Would you choose to go back to finger pricking? So during these 2 years, we have answered these 3 fundamental research questions. What are the optimum behaviors and practices to improve and advance your project controls function? What are the technologies and advanced analytics? What technology and advanced analytics can streamline data and information? And finally, what metrics benefit most of real-time updates? So we have worked really hard to bring you a wealth of knowledge, tools, and resources. So that's what we have done. We documented 13 case studies on projects with an advanced controls function. We ran 4 different workshops to refine and sharpen the insights and findings of the study. We also ran 10 different surveys to gather subject matter expert insights. We assembled 1 Delphi panel with 10 pre-qualified subject matter experts in order to understand what information should be updated in real time. Overall, 348 subject matter experts, some of you as well, have contributed to this study with over 2,500 hours of their time. So we started our journey where research team 322 left it, by expanding and refining this pyramid of information layers in support of project controls. So the first thing we did was to add a top layer on intelligent decision that captures advanced reasoning mechanisms such as machine learning capable of parsing large data set and finding patterns and insights that would remain hidden to the human intellect. This intelligent decision layer does not have a project controls function per se, but feeds any of the layers below with outcomes such as advanced analytics, prescriptive recommendations, or data quality and validation. Second, 1 level below, the strategic decisions assess where the project is going by forecasting performance with metrics such as estimate at completion. 1 level below, the tactical decisions assess where the project is by comparing the actual performance against the baseline with metrics such as cost or schedule performance indexes. At the bottom, the operational decisions manage day-to-day issues and tasks. This is the layer where emerging trends or deviations that require attention, such as engineering omissions or delayed procurement orders, can be addressed. Then, we asked subject matter experts how different roles use leading information in order to make decisions. The results clearly show that field supervisors rely mostly on the 2 bottom layers of data and events and measurements to manage and support day-to-day operational decisions. On the other hand, project managers and corporate managers mostly rely on the 2 upper layers of assessment and forecasting to understand why the project is where it is and what should be done to steer performance in the right direction. Let me share this with you. Over these last 2 years, the single question that we have heard the most from everyone that we have engaged in the project is, tell us what information we need to update in real time. So this is what we did to answer the question. We added an additional layer of real-time monitoring that captures the continuous update of project status and performance. Second, research team members identified 170 metrics and information items that are being used to make decisions through the different project phases. Finally, we assembled a Delphi panel to achieve consensus on what metrics and research items require real-time updates. The findings are consistent with our initial hypothesis that real-time updates are required in support of operational decisions. That is, in the 2 bottom layers of data and events and measurement. Overall, consensus and near consensus was achieved for 45 metrics and information items, mostly in construction, followed by procurement. In this slide, you can see a summary of the themes of the 45 items. You will find a detailed list in our final report, which will be published in the fall, so keep an eye for an email blast from CII announcing the publication of our reports. Before moving forward, notice that the two upper layers of assessment and forecasting do not require real-time updates. For example, the daily variation of the cost performance index in the assessment layer is negligible. Subject matter experts told us it's a nice to have, but not a must-have. So once we had answered the fundamental question of what needs to be updated in real time, we wanted to understand how to enable advanced project controls, as we call it, APC. So we took a very holistic approach. APC has three fundamental or foundational supports: the work environment and resources provided by stakeholder organizations. It requires an effective project controls function, and also the implementation of advanced technologies. So we have generated one tool in support of each one of these three themes to provide guidance to CI member organizations into their advanced project controls journey. In this slide, I'm going to briefly summarize these tools. The first tool is the work environment rating tool, which assesses the level of commitment of owner and stakeholder organizations to project controls and their advanced implementations. The level of commitment is assessed through 27 factors. These factors we borrowed and refined from the IP2 and mirror study by the Department of Energy and Arizona State University. Then our team hosted a dedicated workshop in order to weight those factors. Those factors cover the aspects of culture, people, processes, and resources. This tool is available in a spreadsheet format and also is actually available on the conference app, so you can download it right now. Second, the project control readiness checklist tool assesses the goodness of your project controls, processes, and procedures. This tool was not in the scope of our work, but it organically grew within our team based on the observation that the CI body of knowledge does not contain a mechanism to assess the effectiveness of project controls. The goodness of project controls is done through the assessment of 40 components, which are grouped into the sections of basis of decision, basis of design, and execution approach. This is a checklist tool that will be published with our final report. These two tools together, before moving forward, are the core foundation to advanced project controls. Without organizational support and a proper work environment, and without an effective project controls function, there is no scope for APC. It is like starting to build a house from the roof. So finally, the last tool is the Technology Practices Maturity Rating tool, which assesses the goodness of the implementation of advanced technologies in support of project controls. We define from our case studies 21 technology practices, which are grouped in the sub-processes of technology architecture, workflow, data collection, monitoring intelligence, and reporting. We also hosted a workshop to weight those factors. This tool is also available in a spreadsheet format and is also available on the conference app. The assessment can be adjusted to the level of a scope of technology implementation, whether that's across the board throughout all the project controls functions, or specific to an application such as field monitoring and progress. So the combination of these three tools together provide a holistic assessment on how you can, and also a step-by-step guidance on how you can grow organically your project controls function. We documented multiple instances in which the implementation of technologies alone did not only fail to advance project controls, but often led to a slippery slope and eventual pitfall. So this slide contains a summary of the tools and resources that I have presented so far. However, we're a generous team, so we generated actually additional resources in support of the implementation of technologies for advanced project controls. Whenever we hosted workshops, whenever we interacted with subject matter experts, we also get questions a lot about AI and the role of AI for project controls. So you can see on the left of this slide that a couple of the resources are specifically dedicated to AI. One of them is forward-looking AI applications. So we develop a list which my colleague Rodolfo will present shortly. However, let me share with you this number. Based on data that we collected less than half a year ago, and I'm going to emphasize less than half a year ago, only 7% of CI member companies are using AI in support of project controls or project management. So still a minority. So in order to get a glimpse of what is being done today, the US Department of Energy was gracious to record a video explaining how they are leveraging large language models for project controls. The DOE has a dedicated team of data scientists and AI experts that explore the use of AI applications in project controls. So let's play the video.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amber Young with the Department of Energy Office of Project Management, Project Controls and Policy Division, PM30. And today we'll be demonstrating how the Department of Energy is leveraging artificial intelligence across various applications. We're using AI to revolutionize our approach to project management and controls, data, and strategy. Some examples of how we're using AI is that we've generated over 700 wiki pages on data quality checks in about 2 days, which would have taken us weeks to complete without AI. We also have conducted sentiment analysis and SWOT analysis on over 1,500 comments from earned value environment assessments in a matter of hours and not weeks. And our developers are using AI every day to help them write their code. One example I'd like to show you live is our AI assistant, WBS Walt. WBS Walt is our AI assistant who created his own name and his own image. We use him to do all kinds of brainstorming. So what I want to show you today is how I use Walt to brainstorm creating a newsletter article. I was tasked to write an article on our data quality checks that we've recently revised. So I go into Walt and I ask him to help me start brainstorming with Walt. So I put in my prompt for the brainstorm. I've pre-populated this section, so I've already answered some questions for Walt. I give him my responses, so now it's becoming a collaborative piece where Walt gave me the outline and I give it responses, and together we're going to create some summary conclusions. And as you can see, Walt is very verbose, so I will ask Walt to please summarize and condense this into 1 to 2 paragraphs. I then do this a few times, iterate until I get the full body of content. I then go back and vet everything, as the human must always be in the loop. And together, I've drafted an article with Walt. AI helps us automate complex processes, reducing the need for extensive manual labor. This not only increases efficiency, but also allows our team to focus on more strategic tasks. Ultimately, AI drives smarter decisions and innovation across the board. Let's embrace these advancements and continue to explore what's possible.
Great, thank you. So my colleague Rodolfo will introduce additional and discuss and explain additional technology resources and wrap up the presentation.
Thank you, David. Well, this is mind-blowing, right? I mean, organizations like the US Department of Energy and improving and exploring new routes in order to make the new technologies useful for their own benefits. And please don't take me wrong. Let's bring a big applause to the DOE, which I believe is present here, because they are showing to us that this is possible. And they are an organization not for profits, by the way. We are making or trying to make profit. Let's use it. And I would like to believe that many of us in here, many organizations presented in here, are investing a lot of money, a lot of effort in order to explore new technologies. Not necessarily AI, but technologies that will bring and move their capability to reduce uncertainty. CAI research team 402 has developed a set of technologies that, if applied properly, I should say, has developed a catalog of technologies that, if developed properly, can actually move the needle in each of your projects. Those technologies, 46 that we identified, 30 that we identified, and 7 domains, are available in our research. And those technologies are classified in those 7 domains you see here. Technologies like robots, large language modeling, smartphones, machine learning. All those technologies are available in there and could help you to move the needle, as I said before. The beauty of this catalog is that will allow you to, at each technology, define which characteristics of technology will basically allow to you. What's the application? What's the order of magnitude cost? What's the resources needed to implement? The level of development of that technology across the commercial products available in the industry, and so on. But once we know what the characteristics of those technologies are, the next question for us to solve was, well, what's the impact of those technologies on advanced project controls? If we define advanced project controls as the way to empower our construction managers, project managers, and people driving these massive projects into a data-driven, timely and data-driven project controls decisions. So we need to empower them in order to do the best and take the best tools available. No surprise here, AI provides the bigger impact for advanced project controls. But nevertheless, mobile computing and wearables are just behind it. So those are technologies that are ready today that can actually generate value for your projects. Automation, robotics, and augmented and virtual reality are technologies that we perceive to be, and I say we perceive to be based on the surveys that we receive from you guys, to be a medium impact on advanced project controls because of the nature of those technologies. Those are very specific applications. Those technologies are not necessarily future-looking, not necessarily trying to project what the project controls results and the results of the projects are. So we define the characteristics on the technologies. We define at each technology what the impact on advanced project controls are. But we also then start asking what the rate of adoption of each technology is. We found, based on those surveys, that mobile computing, visualization, and tracking and tracing are the leaders on those applications. Those are commercially available technologies that everybody within this, at least higher than 50% of the projects we have in this room, executes. The next set of technologies that has been adopted are the automation and robotics and augmented and virtual reality, with an average about 30%, higher than 30%. So people are taking use of that. As Dr. Grove mentioned at the beginning, artificial intelligence, not necessarily a surprise, is one of the lowest implemented in our projects. But guess what? 7% of our projects are basically implementing this. 7% of the people in this room, or the organization represented here, are looking into retrieve value, reduce uncertainty, and maximize potential into the outcomes of their projects. So once we know the technologies, their characteristics, their adoptions, and the impact, now how we can facilitate the implementation of those technologies. As mentioned before, technology alone is not the solution. Technology is just to maximize what we know as a practice and what we are as a team. So in order to be able to help CII member companies on the road to implement any type of technology, not necessarily just AI, we listed barriers and drivers. We identified 12 barriers and 9 drivers that can help you to implement technologies in your projects. But instead of going to the plain list that you see here, which is self-explanatory, what I would like to highlight is we match those barriers and drivers to each technology that we define. So on those 30 technologies we have listed, we identified, and I will refer to AI because everybody is basically looking into the AI right now, that the major technology that is impacting the barrier number 3 here, cyber security and privacy, is AI. That's the major driver for that barrier. The technology, again, artificial intelligence, also is looking into the complexity of implementation and holds the barriers number 1 and 2 as the main drivers in AI. But however, AI is also represented the first 2 items on the drivers to implement, because it's basically allowing us to create value and have reliable and forward-looking type of outcomes. So I will invite you to go through our research and look into specific technologies and what's the barriers and drivers associated with those in order to be able to maximize the potential applications and implementations of those technologies. But before we actually move into what type of technologies we need to implement, what I would like to highlight to you is that we need to take a step back. Let's think about 2 layers of potential applications of advanced project controls. The first one, which is depicted here, is roles, processes associated with non-AI technologies. And the other ones, I will list in the following slide, what opportunities we can realize if we apply AI. So we went through subject matter experts, surveys, workshops. As a matter of fact, it were 3 workshops back-to-back in order to take the importance of different technology and subject matter experts and project controls to define which processes will have more value if we increase automation and we increase the frequency of the data consumed by the project controls practitioners. The results here, probably not a mystery or surprise for many project controls people in the room: schedule, data management, cost, reporting, and progress as the highest. If we would like to have more automation toward those, probably will be better suited in order to empower the project controls practitioners to create value. Schedule in the terms of the baselines, the logic associated with the programs, and the complexity to update those schedules. The data management is in the way of data gathering and data validation. Reporting associated with creating a standard reporting for the projects. I'm guilty of charge. Every time I have a new contractor, I basically said, listen, I need this report. The contractor said, but I have this one. Can I use it? Definitely. That should be our trend, right? I mean, if the contractor is providing the same type of resources that we're expecting and information that we're expecting to receive from them, definitely we should be able to look into a different shape without the same content. And that's what we need to start aligning with. That's what I mean with creating standards from the process point of view. Progress, the complexity of gathering processes up to the lowest level of reporting is something that we need to explore in here. And cost, you will note in here that cost basically is not requiring further automation, but it's requiring further increase on the frequency of the reporting. If we remember, cost reporting, I believe, is in a 30 days, in a month type of frequency. The subject matter expert interview are agreeing that we need to have it frequently. All right, this is something that we can execute with the project controls processes and culture, the work environment. But what I would like to highlight to you is AI has the opportunity to allow us to implement in several areas. The value that we can create in here is listed for left to right. And the 4 categories that we identified are risk management, construction management, schedule, and project controls. Those 46 applications that we identify as project controls are coming from project control subject matter experts and technology experts. What I would like also to highlight is that out of those 46 items that we identified, 70% of those are forward-looking measurements. That means we're trying to solve issues before they actually realize. That's the power of this. We should be clearing the road ahead of us and making the right turn with the confidence that nothing will be around the corner. Stop looking into the mirrors and looking forward and try to clear the path to your teams. One other concept in here is, and if you remember that chart, 30-70, our intention is to go for 70% smooth operations in our projects to 30% chaos. You probably have heard that before. We need to go there. There's evidence that can be done. We just need to realize the value. So regardless of which technology you choose, the values and the awards are different. If you choose AI, you probably will be realizing all of those. However, choose wisely and go to the technologies and find out exactly which technology will basically fit better for the maturity of your organization at this point. If you need to start with creating the standards, so be it. But if you need to start creating ways to automate your data capture and integrate your systems in order to be able to gather information from different entities, that will be what you need to do. Look for your place and start action that place. However, what I'm trying to show here is that if you decide to go to AI, you will have to have your soft skills for project controls practitioners as we know today. You will have to have your knowledge and expertise on scheduling and cost, information communications, and more regarding your project controls frame. But you have to start bringing to your teams data sciences and artificial intelligence experts, programmers. If you really want to go there and you want to start doing your mini playgrounds on AI, that's the way to go. It's also valid if you're going to go to a big enterprise and start using their products. But I would suggest start with small steps. So start building your knowledge, start preparing for it, because it's here. At the end of the day, what we're trying to change is the famous concept of project controls and art, and not a science. Let's try to remove all the subjectivity in the project controls decision-making process. It is not enough to just say, I'm taking the decision based on the data I have. We should be able to start saying, I'm making the decision on the complete data that I have today. I have a 360 view of the information. And then I will be able to realize value and making better decisions and quicker decisions that will save money. In a summary, the road to advanced project controls with AI. We have provided in this research team 3 major tools, 2 of them available in your app, and one of those, the one in the middle about the project control readiness tool, that will be available at the final report. Look for email blast, and in that email blast, we're trying to do a webinar in order to continue the development of that particular tool. That tool is, to me, the basic and the backbone of the project controls practice. We use those 3 tools together and other resources associated with it. One resource that you haven't seen here is the KPIs prioritization list. We are defining KPIs, which KPIs we are, based on our results and surveys, needs to be gathering and needs to be refreshed in a daily basis or a more frequent basis. So in a call for action, I mean, you can read everything in there, but to me, AI, the innovation in AI it can only be compared. And please, quote me here, it's my perception. We can only compare AI, to me, at least with the invention of the wheel or the invention of the motor combustion engine. This is something that will change our life. If we don't prepare today, our life, we're going to be in a very bad position in the future. So use your tools, wait for our major blast, and let's go for a QA/QC. We're going to be receiving our fellow Glenn Watson from ExxonMobil and Norberto Pasos from TechInt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we've got time for one question, and great presentation. And I'll tell you, what I heard from that is like we're all connected, and you all have already laid the groundwork for us. Instead of starting on step 0, this allows us to go to step 2 at least. So well done. So one question, can advanced project controls be implemented in small projects?
I think a short answer is absolutely. There's no reason why that shouldn't be the case, whether it's a small project or a large project, a small company or a large company. The first things you should do, as our guys already highlighted, is use the various assessments tools to see where your company is, where your organization is in terms of maturity. Get that done first, and then you can selectively choose which elements to integrate into your organization. This is absolutely scalable.
And I think if you look at large projects, that's where you're going to put your investment in these technologies are going to be. You're going to spend the money on large projects. And once you are successful with advanced project controls on large projects, you're going to scale it down. And you're going to be able to use what you've already set in place. You've already got a foundation, a framework for it, and you'll be able to use it on your small projects.